My goal for you today is a couple of things. I want to give you some powerful information and education about our products, our nutrition, but I also want to go over the importance of our philosophy of cleanse, balance, and build, because it really is the foundation from which everything else is built upon. And it is the reason that we always say our nutrition gives our body what it needs to heal itself. Now, everybody knows here, we say it a million times, our products do not heal or treat or cure anything. The power is in the design and nature of giving your body what it needs to do its own job. And as a medical professional, I really can get behind that. The key to that is understanding when we talk about our body has to be in a state of alkalinity and oxygenation. I don't think enough people understand what that means. And when we talk about our pH has to be alkaline in our body. So first of all, what the heck does pH mean? It is the potential of hydrogen. What that means in your body is that the more hydrogen a food forms in your body, the more acidic it is, which means it's a breeding ground for all disease and illness. So that's bad. We want our body to be in a state of alkalinity, which means our pH is higher. That means the less hydrogen that it forms in the body, more oxygen. That is the state of healing that your body is required to be in. Sounds really easy. So why are we the sickest country on the planet? Why do 2 million people get diagnosed every year with cancer in this country? It's easier said than done, because most of the crap we put in our body is very acidic for you. In an acidic body, bacteria and viruses, cancer cells, love it. So we need to be feeding our body with pure foods that boost our pH to be alkaline. Disease cannot grow there, because the more alkaline something is, the more oxygenated something is. So I want you to remember that picture as I talk about the philosophy of cleanse, balance, and build, and how our nutrition works together and the chain reaction that occurs among them. We're not a one-trick pony, folks. You can't just take one thing and expect it to do everything in your body. If that were the case, God would have just given us one food on the planet. But He didn't. And so I want to give a scenario of what your body goes through when you feed it something that is acidic forming. And then I want you to see what your body goes through when you feed it something alkaline forming, like our nutrition. Okay? I'm so excited. Okay. The one thing I want you guys to remember when we talk about we've got to keep our body alkaline, that's not really totally true. We have to keep our bloodstream alkaline. That's where it starts. And our bloodstream has to stay at a pH of about 7.38 to 7.41. It is a very narrow window. If you veer from that, you will die. Period. And your body will sacrifice every other aspect of your body to keep it that way. That's why we are such a sick country, because we feed our body with so much junk, so much acid-forming toxic foods that it just can't keep up. So, what happens when I do eat something that is acidic forming, like sugar, dairy, meat, coffee, processed foods, GMO foods, and then you add to all the insecticides and pesticides and all the crap, which is almost everything we eat, let's just be honest, all the good stuff. What happens to my body and how cleanse, balance, and build cannot work? So say I drink a soda. Soda has a pH of about 2.8. It's close to battery acid. Say I drink a soda. The pH of my bloodstream now is just flooded with toxic, acidic, hydrogen-producing junk. It can't survive. It immediately has to find a way to shoot it back up. So what does it do? It shoves all that acid and all that junk into my cells. Okay? So now my cells are full of crap. It has no other choice. And it can't go anywhere because it can't go into any pathway of elimination, because that will change that pH in my bloodstream to be at a place where you can't survive. So it's stuck. So not only am I not pH balanced, I'm not cleansing. Now my cells are full of junk. They can't even receive good nutrition. So my body's stuck in a state of illness. So what happens when I eat something alkalinizing, like all of our foods, all of our products? Here's what happens. I am going to flood my body with something so alkaline and oxygenated. Now remember, my bloodstream can't be too high either. But what this does is it sets the stage for the chain reaction to start occurring. Now my cells are saying, thank you, Jesus. I can shove all that acid into my bloodstream to get that pH normalized. So now I'm purging. That alkalinity has now caused my cleansing to occur naturally. So now it's going to take all this junk that's breeding disease and illness, shoving it in my pathways of elimination to be released in my body. It's binding to the oxygen that's forming to form water and help it all release. But now look at my cells. My cells are all open. They can receive good nutrition. That's the design of the body to give you a quality and quantity of life. We didn't do it, God did. All we did was stand firm on a philosophy of cleanse, balance, and build, because that's what your body requires to heal itself. Are y'all with me? Okay. So cleanse, balance, and build is equivalent to our core products, and that's where I want to start. That is our foundation from which everything else is built. I like to start with balance first because it goes with my scenario. We've got to make sure our pH is balanced, and the key product that accomplishes this in our company is the Goyen. Now, we all know a lot about Goyen, 20 warming and cooling superfruits that come together to balance the pH and the hormones. But how does it really do that? We have several key ingredients that I want to point out first. Two of them are, one is the hawthorn berry, and the other one is really interesting. It's called the Euphorian longan fruit. Now, what do those two things do? Number one, they're extremely alkaline. They are oxygen producing. So they also prevent anemia. How does it do this? It binds to iron to be brought into the cell. And when you bring iron into the cell, you bring oxygen into the cell. When you bring oxygen into the cell, that's a healthy environment for health and wellness. Again, keeping our pH alkaline. Two very powerful ingredients in our Goyen, and you can't find them very many places. We also talk about the Goyen balancing our pH. We've all heard everyone say it's marriage counseling in a bottle. It's so true. So true. A lot of it has to do with two things. One is called the Schisandra berry. It is a stress adaptogen because it can cross the blood-brain barrier to get to your natural glands that control your own hormones to give you a healthy mood and a balanced feeling. We also, along with something called the GAC fruit, we actually have clinical studies that prove the GAC fruit to be more effective than a prescription-strength antidepressant. It's amazing. It's amazing. But one of the key things that were important to me with my background, I didn't know, is the GAC fruit. We have clinical studies on the GAC fruit showing that it has cancer prevention properties. It slows down the multiplication of cancer cells and inhibits its proliferation. That's a big deal, folks, because 1 out of every 3 women and 1 out of every 2 men in their lifetime will develop cancer. That is crazy scary to me. I don't know why somebody would not put all of our products in their body, because nobody is immune. It has a mind of its own, and it does not care who you are. Third thing I want to talk about, if you can see that we're now pH balanced and hormone balanced, this sets the stage for our cleansing to occur. Because remember, when we're pH balanced, it automatically tells our body we can start purging the junk. And this is done with our liquid cleanse. We all know, everyone talks about it detoxifying all 7 pathways of elimination. We ask my 15-year-old, he thinks there's only 2, number 1 and number 2. And they are, but we also detoxify through our lungs, our lymphatic system, our liver, our skin, and our blood. Folks, if you are not detoxifying through all 7 pathways of elimination, you are not healthy. Just because you're not sick doesn't mean you're healthy. We live in an age where we eat too much crap, we're exposed to too much junk. Your body needs to be purging this junk, and it needs help. I want to talk about just a few ingredients because people want to know, well, how does it detoxify all 7 pathways? Number 1, we have the dandelion fruit, which just destroys acid in the blood. It also cleanses the liver, and it purges toxins through your skin. That's just one ingredient. The oregano is a very powerful detoxifier for your lungs. Turmeric and ginger, not only does it detoxify the liver, but it also detoxifies your lymphatic system. So here I've only talked about 3 ingredients, and I've detoxified 5 pathways of elimination. That's powerful. Now, as far as our number 1 and number 2, the red clover is very powerful for detoxifying our kidneys. It's a diuretic, and it will help purge and bind to toxins in our bloodstream to eliminate them through our kidneys. But then we have the bad boy, which is our colon, and we talk a lot about it because that's our number 1 eliminatory organ. And we have things called cascara bark and cayenne pepper that balance your bowels to give you 3 healthy eliminations a day. Folks, you gotta poop. You've got to poop 3 times a day. When you think about what you put in your body versus what comes out, it's disgusting. The average adult carries around between 9 and 21 pounds of waste in their intestines every day. That's a lot of crap. That's a lot of crap. And when you know that most of your nutrition is absorbed through your intestines, Jesus could come down and tell you what to put in your body. If it can't get to the lining, it's irrelevant. You've got to be purging, like Kelly Johnson says, 3 happy poops a day. You'll change someone's life. Most of your immune system is located in your gut. So if you are purging several times a day, you're going to boost your immune system again to give your body a healthy environment. It's a big deal. Now I have people that say, well, what if you're on the other end, like IBS and Crohn's disease and diverticulitis? We have things like cayenne pepper, which are an anti-diarrheal. I promise you, these ingredients know what to do in your body. You just need to put it in there and let it do its own job. So here I have balanced my pH, which set the stage to cleanse my body of all toxins and waste. Now I gotta build my body up with good nutrition. This is where I want to talk about our daily build. Now, folks, I know motor oil probably tastes better. Let's just be honest, okay? It's nasty, okay? But I respect this company so much in respecting my intelligence by not putting a buttload of sugar and artificial sweeteners in this product so that it tastes good for me for 2 seconds, but instead educates me about why it tastes very bitter. Because in my opinion, I'd rather have 2 ounces of nasty, an ounce of nasty for 2 seconds in my mouth than a lifetime of nasty in my body. Okay? As Fred Johnson says, just put your big boy pants on and drink it. Okay? It is so powerful, and with this new formulation, it's one of my things I'm most excited about. It does have 23 vitamins. It is the equivalent of 6 to 8 servings of fruits and vegetables in 1 ounce. But something I want to make sure you understand is our introduction of methylated B vitamins. Game changer. Now, it does a lot of stuff. I could speak here for 4 days on the methylated B vitamins. But I want you to take away that it does 2 things. Number 1, when it breaks down, it does 2 things. It forms copious amounts of ATP in your body, which is your natural energy. You don't need stimulants and caffeine and a buttload of sugar for energy. You need vitamins for energy. And this is not only the external energy that you feel, it's internal cellular energy, what your body requires to function. And that's what one of the things that the methylated B vitamins does. It produces a lot of energy, and it also forms something called methionine. I want you to write that down because you'll want to look it up because it's like 5 pages of some of the most powerful health benefits and requirements to your body. Methionine is a very vital amino acid that does several things. Number 1, it's important for every body function of life. It regulates all normal human development. It regulates healing. It regulates neurological function. But the key reason that it's in our daily build is that it increases the nutrient retention of the cells. So when I drink my daily build, because now my cells are open, because I've purged on my junk, it just sucks that in and holds on to it to give my body what it needs to heal itself. Can I get an amen? Please don't go a day without the daily build. I'm telling you, challenge yourself, just suck it up and drink it. The fourth thing I want to talk about, which rounds out our core four, is the pure energy. And I really wish they would change it to a different name, like Pure Life, because energy is, in my opinion, one of its least powerful benefits. Now, we all know it does give us about 5 to 7 hours of mental focus and clarity and alertness. It is packed full of so much vitamins. But I really want to talk about something important, especially with my background, because we also talk about that it has wheatgrass and blue-green algae. Why do we talk about that so much? Blue-green algae are specifically spirulina. It is one of the most active chlorophyll-containing foods on the planet. Why is that a big deal? It's a big deal. Chlorophyll, it binds to carcinogens, to all the junk in your body that can potentially cause cancer. It binds to the carcinogens and interferes with their absorption. If your body cannot metabolize a toxin, it can't be used. Chlorophyll blocks it to be absorbed. Folks, I don't know any man, woman, and child that should not be taking something with spirulina. I just don't. If you can give me one good reason, I'd love to hear it. Love to hear it. Spirulina, and it's also in our greens, so I'm killing two birds with one stone. So powerful, and we have over 70 peer-reviewed clinical studies on spirulina that prove its effectiveness for protecting our body against the growth of cancer cells. Please drink it every day. The next thing I want to talk about is our organic sulfur. It's one of my personal favorites. We all know it to be it is the most powerful anti-inflammatory and pain-relieving element on the planet, period. Period. And we are all deficient because we no longer fertilize with manure, and that was one of our richest sources of sulfur. Now, we have so many clinical studies on this. It also does produce your amino acid and methylated B vitamins. So now we know how important that is. It is also a powerful resource in our organic sulfur. But just a word about sulfur. Sulfur does flood your cells with oxygen. That's why it is so alkalinizing to your body. And I mean, you could look up days of clinical health benefits of the sulfur. Nobody should be without the sulfur. No man, woman, child, and pet should go a day without it. So many other key benefits, but something I want to mention that I didn't know as far as taking the sulfur, and I want y'all to hear me. When you take your sulfur, be it capsules or the powder, make sure you take it with either spring water or purified water. But if you're going to take it from your tap water, it has to be from your hot water side. Doesn't have to be hot water, but it has to be from your hot water tank. Because your tap water from the cold side contains fluorine and chlorine. Now, why is that a big deal with the sulfur? Chlorine damages the effectiveness of sulfur in your body. And both chlorine and fluorine block the oxygen uptake in your cells. So if you're taking it from the cold side, you're damaging the sulfur and it's not even going into your cells. If you're doing it that way, take it from the hot water or from purified water, you will notice a difference. It's a big deal. So I've got just a couple more things to talk about. I could spend 4 days talking about the Mila, and Rachel Garcia could talk me under the table and then some. So if I don't cover something, talk to her, because she's awesome. But I want to point out a couple of things. Number one, it doesn't taste, it doesn't smell, and you have no reason not to be having it all day long in everything you eat. Period. I mean, there is no excuse. It does not taste. Bake with it. Put it in soups. Put it in water. Put it in your superfruits. Put it in your shoes. I mean, put it everywhere. It is so packed. And please compare apples to apples. Don't go to the store and buy chia seed and think it's the same thing. If it's crushed or whole, your body can't use it or it's worthless. This company knows what it's doing when it gives you a product like this. It's grown within 23 degrees of either side of the equator, so it has the nutrient density that it's designed in nature to have. And we micro-slice it so we don't damage the oils, and it can get into your body. It is packed with so many omega-3 fatty acids, which there's, of course, a mile-long list of its importance in the body. It's crucial for your heart health of lowering cholesterol and lowering blood pressure. It decreases the risk of arrhythmias. It's incredible brain food. The studies on the chia seed alone are overwhelming. But it is also very powerful for digestion. Please include it. You don't even have to take my word for it. Just use it and you'll see the benefits and the change in your overall health and wellness. The final category I want to speak to you about briefly is the superfruits. We have mangosteen, which of course we have 3 decades of clinical evidence in this fruit alone regarding the efficacy from a health benefit. We also have 3 decades of clinical studies supporting its role in the prevention and development of cancer. So powerful anti-inflammatory and antihistamine, but it has so many other health benefits from the prevention of cancer, it can't be ignored. We also have the acai berry, which we all know it's healthy mood, mind, and memory, but it is also a chemopreventative and a chemotherapeutic. So that means it not only prevents cancer from growing in nature, but it also treats cancer. Very powerful fruit. So is the goji, which I don't think we talk about enough. It has 19 amino acids, 21 trace minerals. It's called the happy berry. It's for mood, mind, and memory. But a lot of people don't realize that it also decreases and prevents anemia, again, because it pulls iron into the cells, and iron is bound to oxygen. So again, it's even more alkalinizing. It increases sexual libido, increases sexual activity. It's awesome, awesome. My husband loves it, and my 21-year-old son is never allowed to drink it. Ever. I'm kidding. No, not really. And finally, the noni, which is our bad boy. It's the king of all superfruits. Again, I think it's the cousin to Daily Build. It tastes like you've wrung sweat out of gym socks for a month. But again, the more bitter something is, you better be drinking it. Period. It is very powerful antibacterial, antiviral, anti-tumor, pain-relieving, detoxificating, liver-purifying, change the oil in my car kind of superfruit. It does everything. But I want to point out, again, because of my other background, it is a very powerful pain reliever in nature. It has something called zeronine, which it absorbs endorphins. Zeronine does in nature. And endorphins are morphine-like substances, and it actually can inhibit the transmission of pain. It blocks something called substance P. It's released from your pain receptors when you're in pain. It actually blocks that substance from being absorbed. So anyone who has any chronic pain issues, and don't be afraid of the noni. Don't be afraid to take more of it. Whatever your body does not need, it will eliminate. Which brings me to my close today. Of course, I could go on for 5 more days, but I want you to remember, don't make it more complicated than it is. I know I've given you so much information, and you're sitting there thinking, well, I have high blood pressure, what am I supposed to take? And I've got an IBO that they have cancer, how am I supposed to tell them what to take? And I want to do more research because I don't want to miss anything. And keep it simple, and remember that the human body is universal. Everybody needs the same thing. Everybody. And what your body needs is the same thing as what your body needs. But each person is going to absorb something differently based on what your body required, and it'll safely eliminate the rest. I'm pretty sure God knew what he was doing when he made you. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a pharmacy in the Garden of Eden. Unfortunately, there wasn't a McDonald's or a Starbucks either. But I just can't imagine God is not up there saying, trust me. Let food be thy medicine. I gave you everything you needed. Put it in your body and let me show you what I can do. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be a part of a company that really gets that. Thank you for letting me pour my heart out to you today.